Okay, so you have your two lines that intersect at one point. We said 4 angles are formed. And what I want you to do here is I want you to tell me what you know about these angles. Is there any relationship among those angles? Just think of it. Just look at it. You see anything that may be true? Maybe you're not sure about it. Look at those 4 angles. Tell me something about them. Nick.
2 are acute, 2 are obtuse.
Okay, how many of you have 2 acute and 2 obtuse? Maybe not in that pattern, but you have 2 acute, 2 obtuse. Okay. Anything else? Any other? That's good. They're types of angles. Come on, go bold here, guys. What do you see? Yeah, Davis?
1 and 3 are the same angle, or the same degrees.
What?
1 and 3 share the same degree.
Thank you for the segue. I want you guys to do this, and hopefully your lines can be, if you can't measure with your protractor, make them go longer. I want you to measure angle 1. Just measure your angle 1 as far as how many degrees for angle 1. And share, guys, and extend lines if you can. And how do you measure it? Great question. I have to use this ray and this ray. So the 2 rays that are on the side of angle 1. And so you could put your protractor the flat side right here, or you could put the flat side right here, kind of like upside down. So you use these 2 rays. Wait, mister, I thought they were lines. Well, if you start from here and go out, they're now 2 rays. Does anyone have a question on how to do that? Because I can help you out with that. And I'm going to start asking you something about them. Did you get it already? Okay, hold off on that. How many of you, your angle 1 is acute, like mine? It's acute, smaller than 90. How many of you, your angle 1's acute? Does your protractor measure prove that it's acute? Or does it say it's obtuse, which hopefully is not the case? Okay? How many of you, your angle 1 is obtuse? So it's a bigger than 90-degree angle. How many of your angle 1 is obtuse? Okay, it's obtuse. How many of you, it's neither? Okay, is it right? Okay, you got a right angle? First one out of the 40 people here. Okay, that's good. All right, now what I want you to do is, Davis, you said something that really shocked me. He said that angle 1 and angle 3 are the same. I want you to tell me if he's right or wrong. Angle 1, and you already measured angle 1. Measure angle 3. So I'm going to use this ray. I'm going to use that ray. But again, you can move around the paper and help yourself with that. Yes, ma'am?
On that paper,
Yep.
when I did it, all of mine are 90 degrees.
Okay, that's okay. Now, are you sure about that? Because they look close, but I'm thinking if I got my protractor, it might be a little different. You know what I mean? Use your protractor. So what I'm coming around to look at is if you at least have angle 1. If you get angle 1, angle 3, give your protractor to the neighbor so they can get it.
I don't know. I was supposed to do 125.
Is that 125?
Yes.
Or 55?
125.
Or what was the other option?
It was just 65, I think.
So
Or 55.
125 would be right here, and 55.
Yeah, 55.
This angle right here?
Yeah.
Is this angle right here acute or obtuse?
Acute.
So it has to be 55. It can't be 125. Okay.
Both of them are 55.
Yeah. According to what you're saying. Okay, how many of you got your angle 1 and angle 2 measured out? You're good with it. All right, Sarah Harris. What was the measure of your angle 1?
43.
43 degrees. That's acute. What, Sarah Harris, is the measure of your angle 3?
43.
Wait, what?
43.
The same thing? Murphy, what was the measure of your angle 1? 20? Okay, what's the measure of your angle 3? That's okay. Go ahead and figure it out, and then I'll ask you to submit. Parker, the measure of your angle 1 was?
127 degrees.
127 degrees. Okay, so an obtuse angle. What's the measure of your angle 3?
127 degrees.
Whoa. Hey, but guys, he had obtuse angles. Sarah back there had acute angles. Does it matter whether you had acute or obtuse? No. And then Matt, your angle 1 was what? 90 degrees. What was your angle 3? Okay, here's what I want you to get in your notes, guys. On all of our papers, angle 1 and angle 3 are opposite angles. And I'm going to give these a lot of names here that we're going to have to get down. They're opposite angles. Can you guys kind of tell that angle 1 and angle 3 are opposites? Because they're not next to each other like these two are or those two are. They're like opposite side. How many of you, your angle 1 was up here, your angle 2 is down here, or like vice versa? Same thing, it's opposite. So angle 1, angle 3 are opposite angles, okay? That's a geometric term. Another one is angle 1 and angle 3 are called vertical angles. They're also called vertical angles. And you're like, vertical, what are you talking about? My angles are not vertical. Do you guys know what vertical means, usually? Yeah, up and down, right? Are these up and down? No. How many of you, they are up and down? 1 and 3 are up and down? So yeah, yours vertical. But why can I still say that mine are vertical? Ready? Imagine. I took this diagram and I rotated it. Would I have vertical angles now? So that you can call vertical angles, which are the same thing as opposite angles. And I think I want to get this. Davis, you kind of gave it to me. Angle 1 and angle 3 have the same degree measurement. Have the same measurement. And so we call them, they are congruent. Have you ever heard of that word, congruent? And you can put angles as well, congruent angles. And why don't we just call them equal angles? Because they're not technically equal angles, they're congruent angles. And that's a hard distinction to make. But think of it like this. If I put angle 1 on a piece of paper and angle 3 on another piece of paper, those would be the same exact angle, right? They might be oriented different, but they're the same angle. And then, yes, their measures are the same. Okay, you guys good on that? How many of you understand vertical, opposite, and congruent? Okay, great. Annie, give me the other congruent angles.
4 and 2.
Oh, you measured it? What'd you get?
I didn't measure.
Then how can you say that?
Because they're opposite.
That's right. These are congruent because they're opposite or vertical angles. Hey guys, can you give me anything else about this? I want to see if you guys are thinking. The other class gave me some really cool things about these angles together, separately, combined, switched up, and they gave me some. Wow, I'm like, how are you guys even thinking of that? Okay, Murphy, give me one thing. Oh, go ahead.
I have the same degree for everyone.
For all of them? Okay, well, I'll look at that. So angle 1, angle 3 should be the same. But then angle 2 and angle 4, what were angle 1 and 3, by the way?
I measured them and they're 65.
So they're both 65. So angle 2 and angle 4 should be the same but two different angles. And we'll look at that. I'll show you how to measure. Okay, looking at these measures right here, Cole, what do you notice about it? Or what do you know about these?
Well, just something I noticed is that if you add up all the degrees, it should add up to 360.
What?
What?
Wait, did you add them up?
Yes.
Oh, he added them up. Okay. Guys, let me start from here. Ready? Look at this point. If I went from here, one angle, another angle, third angle, fourth angle, what shape do I form? A circle. So what do I know about angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 plus angle 4? It has to add up to be 360, which is a circle. 360 degrees in a circle, right? That's one fact you know now of these two intersecting lines and their four angles. Another thing. Sarah?
If you combine 1 and 2, or 1 and 4, or 4 and 3, or 2 and 3, you get 180.
What? So you're telling me if I did angle 1 plus angle 2, that would be 180? How do you know that? Oh, you measured it. Duh.
Because it makes a straight line.
Okay, because what are these two angles combined making? Straight line. What about 2 and 3? Straight line. What about 3 and 4? What about 4 and 1? Okay, good. So those would add up to be 180 for any two angles that are next to each other. Anything else? Okay, I'm going to leave it there because I want you guys to think it and give it to me as it comes up.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Would everything combined be 90 degrees, or is that not?
It sometimes can happen, but in this case it won't. We're actually going to talk about 90 degrees in just a moment after this next diagram. Okay, are you guys good with opposite angles, vertical angles, congruent angles, and then some other pieces of info that are going to be extra? Okay, what I want you to do now is I want you guys to draw a shape that's similar to mine. Okay, so I'm going to draw one ray, and then I'll draw the other ray, and make it look kind of like that. And make it long enough so you can measure it easily, please. Because, again, if you make it too small, that protractor is really hard to use. And then put your arrowheads. And what did I just form here? I have two rays with a common endpoint. I formed an angle. Okay, so I have an angle here. And I want you to label this vertex O, point O. And I want you to label this A and this B. So I have my 2 points, one for each ray. Okay, then you're going to do something else for me. You're going to draw another line, and this is why I want variety. Don't do it the same way I did it. I want you to draw another ray, technically, but you're going to draw it with a line. Another ray starting at O and going anywhere here. It could be here, anywhere here that you want. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But you can't just keep doing this for a while. Okay, I'll leave it like that. That's me. That's what I did. All right, and don't forget it's a ray. And you could put a point on it, and I'll call it C. And this line, or this ray, OC, can go in any direction. Okay, any direction. Don't make it like mine. How many of you made it like mine? Good. Oh, how many of you did not make it like mine? All right, so hopefully, even with my different diagram, you can still work this one out. Okay, how many angles are formed here? How many angles are formed on this problem? Murphy? Sorry?
2.
What was your first answer? 3? You're getting there. So how many of you think 2? 2 angles were formed. How many of you think 3 angles were formed? How many of you think 4 angles were formed? Oh my, wait, you guys are, what? Okay, I'm going to call this angle 1, so just put a 1, and I'm going to call this angle 2. And again, our angle 1s and 2s may not be the same, but I said there might be 3 or 4. Where in the world are those other angles? Okay, give me one other one, Parker.
A to B, or A O B.
This is a tough one. Starting here, where would I go?
O.
So like that?
Yeah.
Or like that? So to the right or to the left?
To the right.
Okay, this angle right here, which includes angle 1 and angle 2, that's an angle. That's a third angle. There's a fourth angle. Okay, the fourth one is, and you don't have to know the fourth one as much as the first 3, but the fourth one is there. Okay, let's see. Betsy, where's the fourth one? Starting here, where do I go?
I don't know. Down in a circle.
Right here. And I'm going to erase this marking. It's this angle right here. And you're like, wait, how can that be an angle? Well, what's the definition of an angle? 2 rays with a common endpoint, right? The space between 2 rays and a common endpoint. Is this a ray? Is that a ray? Is this the angle? Okay, so that works. I don't want you to know that one as much. Don't get stressed out. How many of you see 3 at least? 3. We're good with 3. Yes, sir. Want to go 5?
That means like 80.
Actually, they're there in my head.
Kind of has to have 2.
Yes, that's exactly right. We call that angle, that bigger angle, or the one we don't see very well, we call it a reflex angle. So here's my angle normally, and then the reflex is just the rest of it going to 360. Okay, but anyway, how many of you say at least 1 and 2? You guys good with 1 and 2? Okay, I have a little math fact here, and you guys are going to tell me if it's right or wrong. Okay, ready? Angle 1 plus angle 2 equals what? Well, I don't have a 3 and 4 up here. And no, not 4 angles. Ignore that fourth one.
Angle 3.
Yeah, but guys, I don't have a 3 up there, so how are you going to call it?
We're gonna make it angle.
Tell me what you call it.
AOB. Oh, angle O.
Okay, Cole? Say it again. Okay. Angle 1 plus angle 2 equals angle AOB. Right? I don't have a 3 up there, so I can't just make it up, or I have to write it in there. But are you guys okay that angle 1 plus angle 2 is, and really we would say is congruent to angle AOB. But anyway, that's what we have. Okay, why do I need to know that? Here's what I'm going to do. I want you guys to measure with your protractor angle AOB. AOB. So this whole thing, whatever it is, you measure that whole thing. Go ahead and try that out. AOB. And our numbers will not be the same because you sketched what I had, but you weren't up here copying it with the protractor, so it's okay if it's there. When you're done with your measurement, give it to the other person. Let them have it. And try to be accurate. I mean, I'm talking, you can try to be as accurate as you can, but there's a point where we kind of have to admit that maybe we made a mistake. Do you have something, Peter?
Yeah, mine was.
Okay, yeah. What'd you get for?
AOB equals 132. I got 130.
And are they going to be the same?
No.
Not necessarily. So you got Peter 132. Are you sure about that?
Can I double check?
I would double check. Who's sure of it? I want a sure answer of what you got. Now, guys, don't use the number I put up here. I'm using what one of you used, but hopefully you're all sure of it. Murphy? Okay, angle, the measure of angle AOB is, wow, I didn't even put that, is 120 degrees. Okay, great. All right, now, why is that even useful? Think of angles 1 and 2. Why do I even need to know that? What can I use it for? What's the purpose of it, if anything? Josh?
Can you use 120 to find out the other degrees of that other angle?
Mm-hmm. So now what I need you to do, guys, is I need you to find angle 2 on your diagram. Find your angle 2. And I'm going to ask, who gave me 120? Murphy, you're going to find angle 2, and I'm going to use your number. So no pressure. I just need it perfectly given to me. Okay, so you find your own angle 2, and then see if this is going to match up. I want to see if you guys can use your protractors well, and obviously if you can do the math well, which is what we're working on now. But protractor use is good. Okay. Get that angle measurement and then put it right here. Whatever it is for you guys. Because you're trying to find angle 2. So 120 for... Go ahead. Yeah, so for me, angle 120 I'm using, and then I'm going to use whatever her angle 2 is. But your numbers are different.
What are we trying to figure out?
In just a moment, I'll tell you. Yeah. Just get these numbers. Sorry?
What if we get it wrong?
That's okay. We'll fix it somehow. Okay, what'd you get for angle 2, Murphy? 85? Okay, I'm going to use that. Was it close to a right angle? Like, does it look kind of like it's going to be a right angle? Okay. No, that's good. I'm just, making sure that you would get it. Okay. Whatever your measure was, I need you to find what measure 1 is without the protractor. Do not use the protractor. Not allowed to use it anymore. Oh, man. Torture, Mr. A. You mean we got to count the degrees? I hope not. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm going to... Bless you. Go ahead.
So I got 140 and I got 65
For angle 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then I don't get how this can be 155 because that is the only thing I could get.
Yeah, so I would check that angle. Let me see this real quick. I'm going to check the big one.
The big one?
Yes, center and the line. It's hard for me to see the line sometimes. I'm so shaky, Nick. 140?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you got?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Like this, I thought this
2 was 65?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all you need right now. You don't need anything else.
But how would that be that?
Angle 2, let me check that one out. So I started here, got my 65, I'm good with that. So this is 65, and the whole thing is 140. Watch what we're going to do in just a moment. Okay. Murphy, what'd you get for measure of angle 1? It's okay. I would have gotten 35. Because what's 35 plus 85? Anyone know? Okay, this number right here, whatever you got, was angle 1. Is that correct for you guys? Measure it. See if it matches up. Go measure it. Measure angle 1. Now you can use your protractors. Yes, ma'am. So the 117 was the whole thing, and 35 was angle 2.
Yes. Okay, so would you add them together?
You would subtract them. You would do 120 minus 85 to get 35. Yep, because it's... Oh, yeah. So you did like a 2-step? No, 1-step problem. Did you get what I said? Okay, so you're like, how do I even get it? You got these two numbers like I did. So I'm trying to find out what this is, right? Something plus 85 equals 120. So can't you do 120 minus 85 equals that? That's what I did. And then now it works. Can you measure it when you get a chance to see if it really is that? Yeah.
70 and 110.
Okay. That.
30 and it was 34.
Okay. I see your 70. I see your 110. So 110 was the whole thing?
No, 110 was this. No, it was this and this.
All the way to
70
here.
was this and this.
Yep. So 110 was from here to here.
All the way.
Like here to here.
These two. ABO. Or OBO.
AOB.
And then
70 was angle 2?
Yeah.
So then what's 110 minus 70?
That's 30. But then when I did this, I got
110 minus 70 is 40. Okay, how many of you, this measure of angle 1 that you figured out is pretty close or exactly what you measured out? Okay, guys, you know what you just did here? You used a little bit of algebra and you confirmed it with geometry, with subtraction in that case. Okay, guys, how many of you got spot on? Like, if you had this problem, you got 35, you measured 35. How many of you did not get that? Like, it's different numbers. That's okay. Yeah, and you would have different numbers on your problem, but they should add up to be these two. This plus that equals that. Does it work out? Okay. We'll get more practice with those, but that's the idea here. Bonus question. If the measure of angle AOB is what you said it was, for me it was 120, find the reflex angle now. As you can work it out if you need to. Find it out. Give me a few moments. And what you're going to do is you're going to give me your number and then how you figured it out. The number's important, but the way you figured it out is more important because it applies to everyone. That's okay. Listen then. You got to listen. Okay, Emily.
the last one. I thought
So,
10 minus 7.
the 110 minus 70. 110 minus 70. Okay. That's 0. That's 11 minus 7. I don't know if I wrote that right, but it's 4.
Well, I got, because you do that and then you... Oh, I see what I did wrong. 120?
Okay, who has an answer for the reflex angle? Annie. What'd you get for this angle right here?
440.
Can it be that? Okay, if the whole angle, like this whole thing is 360, so I think I know what you did. Do you want to change it? Go ahead. 240 makes more sense, right? So, okay, Annie, you said this is 240. What must this be? So this is 240, you said 240? Okay, 240, I'll write it down. So what must this angle be? 120. And is that what you have? Okay, so that's it. Someone else. Get different numbers. Josh?
I got 137.
For this right here? Okay, 137. What was 1 and 2 combined? Or what was the measure of angle AOB?
AOB, no, it was 137.
So AOB right here was 137? So could this be 137?
I think I'm not measuring it. Well, I did the bottom one. I think I did the bottom one right, but the top one, I didn't.
Okay. What special number am I looking for AOB plus the reflex angle? I'm looking for a special number. Say it. 360 degrees. Cole, what'd you get?
Yeah, 230.
230. What was the measure of angle AOB?
130.
Is 130 plus 230 360. That has to work. All right, David's last one.
I got 100 and what did I put? I got
It's okay. 250. So what's this angle right here?
I got
110. They match up. How many of you this is stressing you out a bit? Okay, that's all right. That's all right. You don't have to know all these pieces of info, but you do need to know this. Is the measure of angle 1, I'm going to back that up. Is the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2 the same thing as angle AOB? Yeah, so this little angle plus this little angle going to be the whole thing? Yep, and that's that little little equation up there. Sorry. Okay. Yes, Peter? No. Okay. All right, angle 1. I want you to get one last thing down on this part. Angle 1 and angle 2. Well, like we have one little thing left, but this last part of this problem, we're done with it. Angle 1 and angle 2 are called adjacent angles. Has anyone ever heard of the word adjacent? Does anyone know what adjacent means? Yeah. Adjacent means next to. Are angles 1 and angles 2 next to each other? What do you guys think? Yeah. You know why they're next to each other? Because they share a common ray. Angle 1 and angle 2, they both share a common ray or a common side. They're adjacent. All right, what are opposite angles? Angles that are?
Congruent.
Okay, they're congruent. Good. They're opposite? Vertical. Good. You're giving me different terms. All right, what are adjacent angles? Angles that are next to each other, which means they share a common ray. Oh my. The terminology's a little bit butchered on that one, but that's okay. All right, last thing here. How do you classify angles when they're paired up? Complementary angles. We're going to start. Complementary angles, and here's your definition. Two angles. So we're talking about only two. Two angles whose measures, so the degree measures, add up to 90 degrees. Man, that's a special number. So what's another name for a 90 degree? Right angle. So the two angles add up to be 90 degrees, and if you want a little diagram, this is what I do. Is that a 90 degree? And one set of complementary angles would be 45, 45, but it can be any set here. 35 and 55 would work. 1 and 89 would work? Yeah, any combo of two angles that add up to be 90 would be complementary. Okay, so they have to add up to be a right angle or 90 degrees. Okay? So here I would say angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 90 degrees, automatically, 90 degrees. If they're complementary. That's a key word there, complementary. Okay. Supplementary. This is the last new thing. And it's very similar to complementary. Supplementary angles. What do you guys think these two add up to be? Another special measurement in angles or circles, 180 degrees. So here, supplementary angles, two angles whose measures add up to 180 degrees. That's special. That's a special thing right there. So here's my little diagram. I'll draw my straight line, which now is two rays. Is that 180 degrees? So here I'm going to draw another ray, 1 and 2.
What if it's a supplementary angle from like two 90-degree angles? Does that have a certain name or no?
Say that one more time. You got something really good on that, but go ahead and say that again.
What if it's two 90-degree angles that add up to 180? Does that have a certain name?
You tell me, based on that definition, she said, what about two right angles that add to 180? Are those supplementary angles? Yes, they are. Good. There's no special name, but you could say they're supplementary. All right, here, angle 1 plus angle 2 has to equal 180 degrees. Yeah, degrees. All right, that's the last fact I'm going to give you. Now, no.
You taking notes?
Oh, sorry, yeah. Or wait, no. I'm confused. Can we just get to this? Let's go to example 1 and see how we apply all this stuff. Oh my God. Do you want to complain now? And I'll give you a real reason to complain. Or you don't complain and you won't have a reason to complain. Interpret that message. Okay, let's keep going here. Example number 1, it's really dealing with the complementary supplementary idea. So example 1A. Please listen carefully so you're not confused on what the problem's asking you for. Okay, example 1. Use angles A, B, and C to solve each problem. And then A, it says, angles A and B are, so page 562. Angles A and B are, complementary. So I know this, guys. Angle A plus angle B is going to equal 90 degrees, because what word did they use? Complementary. So you got to know that word, or you don't know what 90 or 180, or is it both or neither? No, it's got to be 90. Okay, did they give you what angle A was?
It's 70 degrees.
So I know that 70 degrees plus the measure of angle B is going to equal 90 degrees. Now, guys, if you're looking at this, you're like, what is that even saying? Measure of angle B. And you're like, why do they do that? Guys, do I know what the measure of angle B is just off the top of my head without looking at the problem? No. So isn't this an unknown? Isn't this an unknown technically? So 70 plus x equals 90, and yes, the measure of angle B, 20 degrees would be your answer. Okay? That's using complementary supplementary. All right, and I verify it. That's okay. Your choice. Is 70 plus 20 90?
Yes.
So 70 degrees plus 20 degrees, those are two complementary angles. All right, B, it says angles A and C are supplementary. So on B, you have angle A plus angle C are supplementary, which means they add up to be 180. Do I know what angle A is?
Yeah, 70 degrees.
Did they tell me what angle C was?
No.
So I don't know it. And yeah, You just do what? 180 minus 70, 110 degrees. Yep, because we want to use that measurement appropriately.
Do we have to put like angle C equals 1?
No, you can say, if you wanted to, you could put the measure of angle C, it's a terrible C, is equal to 110 or just 110. Okay. All right, guys, I need quiet to think.
Oh, well, I guess this gotta go. Oh, wow.
Don't make me reconsider. You have a good lunch. Sorry?